kidding me?
Episode 368.
This is Mark Evan Jackson from Everything. You're listening to NetHeads.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Indeed they are. Does anyone even listen to radio? We don't know, but we know we're here. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Another edition of NetHeads. My name's Will.
And my name's Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, one of many ways you can do it. You can. One of them. Still out there. You know what? We could just say it's almost on every platform because it's usable. Just if you want to be part of the program, you want to be part of the conversation, whatever social media platform you're using, Trent, what do they use?
Hashtag NetHeads.
I've now diminished your biggest part in the program down to just a few words.
And I got it right.
You did. We didn't even practice it. By the way, if you're watching the video, welcome, everyone.
Have a good night. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
No, you're good, man. Thank you very much for those of you watching live, including Michelle Kuzo, Zach in the back is joining us. Thank you, guys. Welcome. You got a preview of tomorrow's title card, which is that it is a fourth Friday here, Trent, which means that our Patreon subscribers get an exclusive show done just for them.
Yep.
So be sure to check that out. I believe I have it scheduled for 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's Pacific time. If you're not in the Pacific, to be specific, you figure it out yourself. Also want to give a shout out as we plan to every week, even though got a little lax on it. But thankfully, I rattled my noggin really good, Trent. And I think it shook some thoughts loose.
Well, maybe there is something to be said about alternative states and what they bring out inside of our head.
Trent, if there's anything I learned from the tropes of 60s sitcoms, it's that with a severe head injury, I can become an entirely different person.
Yeah, you could be the skipper, you could be Marianne, but who you wouldn't be would definitely not be Gilligan.
Little buddy. No, I would not. I definitely would not. You know what? Hell with it. I can't even remember if I was talking about anything getting into it. Oh, I wanted to shout out the Patreon member, our patron of the week. It is Geek Renderer. I don't know why he's oh, that's me. I don't know why that isn't centered anymore. But there we go. Patron of the week, Geek Renderer. He is the one. How did he become the patron of the week, Trent? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, Will, I want to know.
It's because he liked the most items in the last month. So, you know.
And Geek Renderer is like dear to my heart because dude's liking my crap and my crap sucks.
Yeah, right. I feel the exact same way. That's why we're the NetHeads, Trent, because we are two peas in an inadequate, haphazard pod. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and pod applies there. Anyway, yeah, let's cut to the chase, Trent. Obviously, if you saw anything of my social media last week, you would know that on Monday of last week, and there's a reason why Michelle in the chat is saying, Will, you look great. First of all, thank you. Second, get your eyes checked. Third, it's because, Trent, I started a new sport. I don't recommend it. I don't think it will become an Olympic event. It's called asphalt diving. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It sounds like you don't need a lot of equipment.
Not a lot of training either, Trent.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure. Yeah, there's it doesn't seem like there would be a long conditioning period to participate.
Not a long career length in there either, I'll tell you what, my friend.
Once.
Let me tell you, Trent, have you ever seen those fail videos where somebody just goes face first into the ground, like their face gets dragged on the ground, right?
inertia, if we're talking physics, right, is stronger than the force that's pushing against them in the asphalt. So they travel along the asphalt for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? And the first thought I have when I see something like that, right, is that I'm like, wow, that's really gotta hurt. And you know what? Can confirm, don't recommend.
One out of 10 would not play again.
A 0. I only gave it a 1, Trent, because it wouldn't let me give it none. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the lowest rating possible.
This is actually the first time the story is being told, but and really I intended to do a Patreon exclusive show about this, but 2 days after it happened, pretty much got confirmed in a follow-up appointment that I had a concussion. That
your brain was swollen, Will.
Yeah, there's a reason why after about every 2 hours I would get really, really tired. Reason why I didn't like light. So I found out I had a concussion, which, I've got one rule about social media and this kind of stuff, content creation and the like. And that's that if I'm not able to work, then I damn well better not be posting stuff on the web.
Smart. Look, kids, that's just sound life advice.
Exactly. Just if
don't tell your boss about how sick you are online.
Exactly. Don't give them any ability either. Don't give them that thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I fell on my face. There's no other way to explain it. And I'll tell you the circumstances. Now, mind you, I want you to know that that when it comes to my dog Benjamin, okay?
Benny boy.
The story I'm about to tell you, I don't blame him.
No.
I blame
No such thing as a bad dog, only bad parent.
Exactly. Bad training. So,
yeah.
But here's the thing. My dog is somewhat trained. For example, I am the only person in the house that can open the front door, and he will not attempt to run out. Okay?
If you're doing it.
Yes, he will wedge between me and either side of the door frame to get a look, but he knows not to go. And honestly, that's completely accidental. It's because I would use my feet to block him. So now he is just conditioned that my ankles are where to go.
That's the spot when the door opens. I go here and wait, and then I get released.
Exactly. You got it. So
your ankles are the starting gate.
Yes, in more ways than one, depending on the night. So he is trained. However, there's another thing he is trained for. When I take him on morning walks, the side of my house I call it an alleyway. It's also a man trap if you want to think about it. I have at the very front of the house and at the very back of the house, leading into the backyard, a gate at each point. So it's a side alley, but completely isolated because I've got dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what keeps them where they're at.
Exactly. It keeps them buffered. I also have a pool, all kinds of things. So it just so happens last Monday night, I'm going out to take the garbage. Now, usually I have a rule. Oh, pardon me. Didn't finish. When I take him for walks, that is where I leash and harness him before we go. Okay.
In the RV side area.
Yes. In the side alley, as I like to call it, that is where we get ready to go for a walk. Okay. So if he's in that zone, you could understand, as the dog who completely untrained will not run past me at the door, he expects to go out from that alleyway. So that's fault number one. Fault number two, and normally when I take out the garbage, I don't allow him to come with me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because in my mind I think, one, he will be a pain in the ass and not come out of there, and B, let's keep everything the way it should be.
It's just so much faster to take the trash out without having to, worry about him sticking by you or putting a leash on him. It's faster.
Trent, this goddamn dog will also just stop right in front of you. He doesn't recognize that you, although the bigger thing with the greater inertia, has the right of way. Okay.
Gus does the same thing.
Tries to kill us every goddamn day. Every day. So, but I normally don't let him back there for going outside. And it just so happens that he made it past me, and I'm like, That's fine, whatever. I got recycling in one hand, garbage in the other, because we got this new cool garbage can where it's like 2 little squares. Yeah, I got to go take out the garbage more often, but it's so convenient that the recycling side just has a little handle. Take them both out. What the hell? Why not, right?
Oh, okay. So it's not like 2 separate cans.
No, it's one long can, which interestingly enough fits right by the back door as well. It looks like it was made for the spot. Anyway, the hands are full. He comes running in. I figure, what the hell? By the time I get to about where the cans are, Benjamin has figured out whoever used the gate the last time did not adequately close it.
Ooh.
Yes, and he did what is very commonly known, actually, as the Corgi Sprint of Freedom. Okay?
It's a thing?
Yes, it is. It's a very big thing. However, once again, I don't blame him because number 3, he does not have recall training.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because it's fine if he dashes out. If he were properly trained, however, I would say Benjamin return and he would come back no matter what, no matter the excitement.
And I'm going to give you a little buffer so that you can, be kind to yourself in him not being trained in that manner. That's anyone who's ever done it is really hard to do, and 2 requires 2 people the entire time in the training process.
Really? Why is that?
To hold them there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, like to do it well, like, yeah, I was the holder for my mom's dogs, like in that, like, and she would like take off and they would be freaking out and she'd like, yeah, anyway, it takes 2 people as one person. I would not expect you. Gus is likewise not perfectly trained in that sense. Lurch is just too old and lazy.
Very good. And I believe me, Lurch is one of my inner spirit animals now. So he ran, and to take the story and abbreviate it as much as we possibly can, I live on a court. He was running the outside, which I believe is called the diameter of a circle.
Yes.
Okay. Or he was running the perimeter of the bell end of the court, if you will.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll take it.
And so this is what I recall. Okay. I can't tell you what happened because, again, concussion. So unsurprisingly, I might have lost a second or 2 in life.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
What happened was I was looking for where he was, because mind you, unfortunately, I've returned to being a man of considerable girth, and not where I want. So I was gauging the amount of effort I needed to put in. And so I turn to my left and I look and I see that he is still kind of parallel to me and almost in line, which means if I cut across the court, I would be going across a shorter distance if he's running on the sidewalk along the perimeter of the court. So I saw him, I turned forward and proceeded to sprint more. And then the next thing I know, I am on the ground with my face very intimate with the asphalt.
Dude, the picture that you sent me,
which
dude.
Look, you can find a video on social media so you can get an idea how I looked. I'm not going to alienate our audience even more by showing it, but no, it wasn't pretty.
No, and that's not a slight on you. It's just like you see that just stuff online. And you're like, oh God, I don't like that. Nope.
Again, face very intimate with the asphalt, Trent. Very. And so that's, and I also know that I really got my bell rung because when I got up, I first of all did not recognize I did not have my glasses on, and then when I was trying to find them to pick them up, as I'm trying to orient on them, because mind you, from my perspective in my mind now, I'm literally I'm trying to. It's as though I had just done a bunch of spins and now I was trying to ready myself, but still, or like that the whole with the bat and you do circles and then you try and run.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
You've been in religion, so you know that exercise.
I know how cults work. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So I tried to get my glasses and I fell down again. And thankfully I caught him right away. Not right away, but just, he maybe ran me he almost got the first down, Trent, but he didn't quite. Okay. So I got him and I'm holding him upside down. And the best part is I messaged my wife because I also saw there was a ring notice that somebody was at the front door on my
shit.
watch. So I'm like, Benny got out. I just felt real bad. If that was Emily, send her down to the end of the court. It didn't hear end of the court, so it just said send her to the.
Yeah.
And that message got sent to my wife. And mind you, then I used my hand very briefly to touch my face, and I pulled it back and realized, well, goddamn, this is not going to be good.
It's much worse than I anticipated.
Yeah. My daughter ended up meeting me halfway down the court. She took the dog, and then my wife took me to the ER. So that was the incident that caused my bad fall. But also, that is the first time I've truly experienced a real concussion.
Oh man, it's weird, right?
It's a very scary thing. It's not pretty. I thankfully I didn't have headaches, but also I had like 600 milligram Advils, ibuprofen. So believe me, I don't think I was feeling any headaches. And all I was having was light sensitivity, and I was actually under concussion protocols, and I was trying not to do things.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's super important, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly why too, because I would keep getting tired and I would sleep because, my mind was just getting exhausted trying to cope with everything. And when unfortunately this past weekend, my daughter also had a dance competition and convention. But Wednesday, because I couldn't get a follow-up with my doctor and because something else was happening, I can't remember what prompted me going to the urgent care 2 days after. I think there was something, and my wife was concerned, and I was kind of concerned too, and I went. I can't remember what it was, though. I'm guessing it's because I was in the concussion area.
I was going to say, again, you are not required to remember anything from this past week.
No, that's good, because that last week, I don't really... So I don't remember what it was that had us concerned, but I wanted to go. Oh! I think that doesn't matter. The whole point is I went to urgent care the next 2 days later, and the doctor literally told me, oh, yeah, you just talking to me and answering some questions. He's like, yes, you have a concussion. Yeah. So then the next question I asked, because, my wife doesn't like driving on freeways, and
sure.
So I like to go to be able to see my daughter's performances.
Absolutely. So,
my wife kind of counts on me. Oh, thank you. Zach's pointing out your plush. He knows more than my wife. We'll come back to that. But it was because of, at the time, I think I wanted confirmation that it was a concussion because my blood pressure was also really high. And the Friday before, which may be part of what led to my fall, I actually was diagnosed with a bilateral ear infection. Yeah.
Oh, geez. So you're like spinning in everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, my blood pressure was high too, and I was running. That could have led, now that I literally just now thought about it, I'm like, oh, hey. That could have been a thing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but to my benefit, they had me on antibiotics and anti-inflammatory steroids, which
Gotcha.
I think is the other reason why the only thing you see from my accident right now is just these little dots. Well, obviously back of my hand there, but
dude,
I think
you're insane.
Yeah, I think that might be the other reason I look okay. But anyway, the last thing I asked the doctor, because naturally I'm concerned, is like, well, I have a concussion. My daughter has a competition. Can I still go? And he's like, you know what? Of course, as long as you're going to stay in the hotel room as much as possible. You can even go down and see a performance and then go back up. But, but the important part is you've still got to do brain rest as much as possible. So if you can handle the drive there, you'll be fine. Now, mind you, this is all to lead up to a story of why I have a concussion and in a hotel room. I saw one performance. I could do one performance. But after that, I guarantee you, every time my family came back to that hotel room, they came back to a dark hotel room with me on the bed. And I will tell you that I was so, in a way, anxious to get beyond the concussion that I literally, when they weren't there, I would turn all that stuff off. I would lay down, and whether I slept or not, I just put on the sounds of rain. So I had white noise. And then I would just try and count my breathing. If my thoughts wandered, I would return to counting, so that way I knew I was doing as little thinking as possible.
Yep. Gosh, dude, and like, it's like such a it's crap. It sucks that we have to like have like trauma in our lives to get us to like realize. I'm assuming like how like nice that is too. I mean, granted, you're not in a space to enjoy it, right? But like, still at that same time, it's like it's comforting to know that we can fall back on something so, I don't know, simple to get through shit.
I am absolutely amazed, Trent, in a way, how much I enjoyed doing nothing.
Dude, it's so weird, and it's like sometimes when you hear Moj talk about it, you're like, oh, okay, new age California bullshit. There is a lot of truth to it, man, if you ever just like do it.
Yeah. And you know, and some may say, oh, Will, you were sitting on the precipice of transcendental meditation or something. More than likely, because it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, in this particular case, it was me. Actually, New Age California bullshit. It was me surrendering to the process and accepting the fact that it was okay that I wasn't going to be doing anything.
Oh, dude, and that of any cognitive process, for me, that is the hardest thing in the world, is to just accept that I cannot be productive. Like or even better, I should not be productive. Well, shouldn't you should, but like you know what I mean? That like it's not in my best interest. I just need to be for a minute. It's hard, man.
It really is. Giving yourself the excuse to do nothing when you know you have things to do, or even if you feel you should be doing things, is very hard. But I surrendered to it.
And that, to me, I've talked to people have probably heard me bitch about this before, but like, I loathe the term self-care because it has been commercialized so much that it means like not what it's supposed to mean, right? Like, it's self-care is like what we're really looking at is like non-self neglect.
Right? Yeah, pretty much, because really, life should be self-care. You should always be caring for oneself. You're the only you're gonna fucking get. So
exactly, man. And so like you doing that right then, like that is like the perfect example of what true self-care is. Or and I tend to lean towards more, at least part of it is like having the compassion for yourself to do it.
And also, for the narcissistic control freak I can be, it was also me finding a way to take control of a situation where I was not in control.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Because otherwise the anxiety is off the scale because of what's going on in your brain to begin with, and it's freaking scary as balls, man. Like, it is a weird feeling to have your brain not work right.
Yeah, it is terrifying, and that makes sense because although there's no identified history of it in my family, like Alzheimer's and memory retention or loss the loss of identity scares the shit out of me.
Oh, dude, it's after like federal pound me in the ass prison. That's my number 2 fear.
Oh my God, you're kidding. Do you have an abnormal fear of being arrested for something you didn't do as well?
Dude, it scares me to no end. Like to end up in like a full like to end up in San Quentin is the absolute biggest fear of my life.
Okay,
like
good.
I would rather die. I'm more afraid of that than I am of dying.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. Wow. I guess this is why it's been almost 15 years of friendship.
Yeah.
We're relatable.
Yeah.
So anyway, if I could give any advice to people, one, focus on good recall training with your pets. Okay. If your third biggest fear is your pets getting out and getting hurt, do that.
Yes.
Second, if you're also, although I do really commend more than likely the steroids, also proper care. By the way, when this thing was really bad, the worst part of it when it came down was the stupid straps for my CPAP go right here.
Oh.
No. I was continuously trying to devise ways, and we had a med kit, thankfully, that had non-stick compression pads.
Oh, uh-huh.
So I would put those there until I also discovered some larger bandages that didn't have the glue on the sides. So I was able to do that. But anyway, the other thing that I could definitely say, and I do know part of it was this, because there are other parts of my body, mainly my belly, that still kind of look like a meteor shower, because there's like hit and drag, and those are still red and injured. Whereas my face is probably shockingly well.
Well, to me, and like what for any bruise, for me, the worst part is that gross like yellow part.
Yeah,
where-
yeah. Well, and there's a lot of that I dealt with, because 3 times a day I would gently clean, and then I would apply bacitracin. Not Neosporin. The
Right.
urgent care doctor said, "Look, bro," he said, "don't F with Neosporin. Just go with the straight bacitracin in jelly."
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what I did. And I'm telling you right now, that is probably the other reason why a week and a half later, I'm not having to use the literal plethora of masks I did, because I was going to do bits on video until I found out I had a concussion. If you're wondering why I was so brain exhausted, it's because the first 2 days I was doing this stupid shit. I mean, it's great. So Patreon supporters that get physical rewards, guess what one of them's going to be?
Yeah. Well,
Although I will tell you, bud, honestly speaking, if I never felt more like a Bond villain or video game boss than when I tried on this gold one. Doesn't that look like players of Fortnite will know I look like part of the wild card gang, you know?
well, and the real, I think the real reason why I'm glad that you healed up so quickly is that you're just not that big of a Andrew Lloyd Webber fan.
No,
you know?
definitely not. Although, look, man, I will belt out music of the night in a heartbeat. I will Andrew Lloyd Webber the F out of you. New show title. So anyway, the advice, proper wound care, and also and also you don't have to use a lot of it. Bacitracin is a real good thing. So be sure to do that, and take care of yourself. Get a lot of rest.
It's the IRL equivalent of Bacta spray.
That's what I thought every single time I was applying it. It's time for my Bacta treatment.
Yep.
So, and wait, once again, way to go, George, for the large reach on coming up with a creative name for the medical treatment. What is that main ingredient that you can find in the Neosporin? Oh, bacitracin. Oh,
okay.
We'll just do Bacta.
Now, there's not a lot of Dutch speakers, so I guess we could just use father as
Darth.
and so for Vader being father, and then no one will get it at all that he's the father.
I wasn't wearing my cheaters. Well, and interestingly enough too, to wrap that whole thing up, the most shocking part of all, when I tell you the way I felt, because like when you see elements of it, you can still see that my eye closed because it formed a perfect triangle right here. But only one scratch on one lens. That's it. I don't know how the hell that happened.
So I mean, they must have popped off before. Thank goodness. I mean, like, not thank goodness, but like, if glass in your eye is a problem, like, that's pretty fortunate.
Yeah, I was very thankful. One, they weren't on my face, but also that just one scratch on the lens. I mean, I should have bought a damn lottery ticket after all that, but
Yeah.
Concussion, and plus, let's face it, dude. As a guy, it's very humbling when you have to rely on people to take you everywhere.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
That's no fun at all.
It's the reason why when I drop off my car at the mechanics, I embrace the 7-mile walk back to my house.
Right? I don't mind the 2 or 3 mile walk from the tire center. I'm fine with that. It's okay. Trent, let's slip into some serious NetHeads stuff, shall we? If you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll slip in anything if you'll treat me nice.
There we go. Well, just give me a little. I don't know what's going on. So Trent, as you know, obviously 3D printing got obsessed, but I stumbled across something. You'll remember a little while back, I had shown you something that I had printed up. That I could take the large button Stream Deck XL that we use for playing all the wonderful audio cues on the show. I just said cues and I meant cues. Let's not dwell on it. And I did another case for the smaller 15 button one, the standard Stream Deck XL, so that way I could have cases. And I came up with a fancy thing to use my daughter's old Fire HD tablet as a additional, cumbersome in the way.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was looking for. I think I was actually looking for a new stand for my mixer because I wanted to try and increase the angle a bit, and I'm too lazy to design when I can just Google these things.
Yeah.
And I stumble across this one guy, and I should give him credit, but I don't think I have any browsers open so as not to, break the show. I don't. But you can look this up because I think the name of the product that he has designed is called the Pro Streamer Configurable System.
Okay.
This is where I'm going with this. It is a wonderful modular system. So he designed a case for the Stream Deck XL to snugly fit in, conveniently also covering up the branding. And then something I never thought of doing, he took the 15 button one, which is normally a triangle like this, pivoted it this way. So, and you can turn it in the design, so smaller array of buttons. And then like a blank and some one of the ones I'll show you right now in a second. But best of all, it's a modular system. So you can also then design the sub brackets. So all of these pieces slide onto. I actually have a one that I'm like, oh, you know what? This is the only one where the lines went this way. I didn't like it. If you look at the bottom of this thing that I'm holding right here, you'll see these two rail pieces, right? These slide into basically a configurable rectangles, either 1x3, 2x3, or 3x3.
Okay.
So that way then these slide in. And the idea, of course, is that you always end up having one of them, like for example, between two of them, you would have a 2. So that way half of it's here, half of it's there. So these are in the rails for that. And I don't have an example of the other side of the tracks that you slide these into, but it's almost kind of like Lego blocks, where you then print the under tray, and these trays that you're using to bridge all these things tightly together snap into that as well. So that way it's all one big system. And Trent, I'm gonna show you what it looks like now.
Yeah, because I like when there are so many little pieces that I use in production that aren't created for flight cases that it drives me crazy. That I just when you've got something that you can just put everything in and carry it. There's it's the best thing in the world.
In this case, it's just organizing them on my desk. However, they're now in a much more convenient layout, and I think it's actually making me realize it's time to. Well, there's another reason that it is time to definitely take apart and reassemble, because I use my mixer so little, it requires so little attention, it makes no sense that it's in the middle of my desk.
That it's it's got the most valuable real estate.
When there's negative geometry over here to my right that's available, right?
Yep. No, that makes total sense. And if totally different if you were doing a live show where you need to be adjusting the audio, a live show that in front of an audience with new mics.
I'm about to get all offended here for a second. Like, what the fuck do you think this is, pal?
Yeah. But for a traveling show, I'll say, a traveling show. But there's no reason though, in that same sense though, where you've got them all integrated together like that then you couldn't drop that into like a Pelican case or anything else that you got, and then you'd be good to take it on the road, right?
Fair enough. Yeah, I would. It's just a matter of unplugging cables. Now let me show you what options I chose. Okay, and this I'm so excited, Trent, because now with the way we're doing things, you're getting the feed from the video. So even though you're looking at yourself reacting to this, you still also get to see it when I send it to you, instead of trying to awkwardly hold. Can you see when you? No, we're not doing that bullshit anymore, Trent. We're real broadcasters.
Mostly because you probably got sick of me getting so close to my camera when I was looking at stuff up on the screen.
Yeah, now you don't have to. Okay, so here we go. Guys, you're getting a look into something you normally don't see, which is I bring to you now my desk. So this is
Okay.
the Stream Deck, and by the way, it's like this because we couldn't figure out how to turn the camera. So this is the Stream Deck XL, and as you can see now, it's all snugly fit. And then you move right over to this is the video sources for what we're doing here.
Okay.
And I
that's
messed
the-
up these buttons. That's why we accidentally put the wrong title card up, because this should be main and this should be Patreon show, right?
Uh-huh.
And then this is actually my favorite. This is just, hi everybody. This is just a cell phone holder, right?
That's dude, cell phone, like
But-
any cell phone holder on your desk is great.
But if you find the right dimensions for it, it also, I got a USB charger right here. Let's look at Benjamin again. I want to see me.
I got you.
So I've got up to 6 USB ports right here for quick access or for like
Yep.
powering the phone. Even though, honestly speaking, I would probably just at this point cut a hole in this to put a mag charger right there. So that
Mhm.
way it'll just charge the phone when it's sitting there. Hi
Yep.
again.
Oh,
And so all of this is now also locked together. Look, I just
and it's angled, right?
yes. As a matter of fact, if it weren't for the fact that I was moving the mixer, the next thing I would be looking at would just be something to straight up elevate it so it's up here.
Uh-huh.
However, like I mentioned, I've got a lot of unused real estate over here.
Yeah.
So I can use that over there for having the mixer, so that way, if I just need to mute something, it's still within reach. But
Totally,
hi,
yeah.
but then I don't know what I would do with him. You know what I mean?
Why do you put me even farther into the corner?
Exactly. Let me out, Dad. So anyway, so that's the setup. It's really cool, and it's inspired by actually a flight sim design.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you can also, like, let's say you had more things, or you wanted a bigger space right here.
That makes
He
total
also
sense.
includes a blank space that you could then, expand
Mm-hmm.
and to put in your own spaces. But I wanted everything condensed. And this is
Yeah.
the reason why I told you I was very scared at the beginning of the show. Once again, it's Samoyed here, because I'm like, oh wait, the one thing I'm not used to is that the audio is on the left of the video, so I got to do this
Yeah.
right. But also, conveniently, I also have now. It's much easier for me just to conceive of hitting this and that at the same time. Sure, I'm going to hit the
Right.
wrong damn buttons because I'm just
Yeah.
an idiot, but it still works.
It's so it's how do I put this? It's super rad that the professional style gear is available for prosumers,
Mm-hmm.
because the cheapest TriCaster deck that you could get like that is $2,000.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, once again, if you go to NetHeads on Air, or if you go to patreon.com/NetHeads on Air, that is our Patreon. You get exclusive offers on specific tiers, an enhanced video version of the show. As the title card accidentally saw tomorrow, I do a Patreon exclusive show for our Patreon supporters that we call our Fourth Friday Fun Day. And every fourth Friday, I do that little program for y'all. And tomorrow, if you're hearing this today and you're one of our supporters and you're available at that time, make sure you are a part of the Discord, because I'm going to try and do something I haven't done in years, and that is hopefully take live calls and talk to our Patreon supporters.
Dude, I will tell you something. Like when we first started doing a show together, that aspect of it, that you could take live calls, kind of blew my mind. And no, but here's the thing, it was very validating of your CV, I guess would be the way to put it, because especially back then, man, no one was doing live calls into a podcast. That it was impossible. You couldn't do it.
Well, no, yes, you could.
You
I've always strived to find a way to do live, to do something that was just like the radio talk shows of my youth.
Yeah, God, man, yeah. Well, and plus, calling into your favorite talk show and actually getting on air, dude, the adrenaline that would come on when you were talking, and then you'd fuck up so bad, at least if you were me, when you were talking to me, and then you'd forget to say the really witty, funny thing that you would come up with. Such a good memory, dude.
Man, those really funny, witty things are always the reason why I don't remember what the hell we're talking about. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Trent, man, I remember how you said I think we're gonna run out of show.
Oh shit, yeah.
I think we're gonna run out of show. But anyway, I'm really thrilled with this new setup, and the other reason, because as that fracking cat points out in the chat, says happy belated birthday. Thank you very much, sir.
Fracking cat.
You are not gonna believe what my family got me for my birthday, and it just
the back spray.
Yes, it was actually a back to tank, so that way I could expedite the process.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it just goes to show my family really, really, really knows me because I have multiple. It's too bad I stopped the camera. I've got multiple monitors here. Okay, right now I'm not working, so the one that is the second point of my main view is off. That's my main work computer. The one up here used to be Smodco Internet Radio, but that's just an automated stream now. Yes, it still exists. It's out there somewhere.
You can find it.
But I have a use for that one. And I got my old MacBook over here to the left. That is mainly my communication conduit with my contract employer.
Oh.
You may have heard of him. So that's really why I have it. It's because it's convenient to do messaging and with family as well. I'm very Apple centric, so I did that. Now, my work computer spot used to also be occupied by a MacBook, but it was a 2012 MacBook and it was finally giving up the ghost. So on my birthday of all days, I carefully integrated a one of those, it's not a stick PC, but it's close. It's about the size of like this remote. Okay.
Yeah.
That's now running the audio. So I got that configured for all of our sound drops to come out of, right? So if I want to, the great Will Wilkins, you can hear that coming from that one. Nice, clean audio. I am utterly shocked.
That sounds great. And that's running Windows?
Yes, it is. It's running Windows. I think it's Windows 11, to be honest.
I didn't know, because when you get that small, it's like, ooh, did he go for the Raspberry Pi or is he running Windows? And if that would
have been too smart. That would have been the wiser choice for the use of the hardware.
But for me, I'm just such a Windows nerd that I'm like, I don't want to learn Raspberry Pi. Just let me get a Windows machine.
Just give me the GUI I know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's there. Now, a certain benefactor as well gifted me. This is not my family. We'll get to the family's gift in a second, but gifted me an AirPad Pro, right? No. It's not an AirPad. It's what do they call that thing? iPad. Jeez.
iPad. Yeah.
Look, concussion, y'all. All right, come on.
It's fine. It's still coming back. It's fine.
Cut my slack. Cut my slacks. Cut my slacks. Damn it.
We just got to widen those neuro pathways.
Trent. Everything seems to be working fine, and then the last word of the sentence is cranberry. Anyway, Iron Man 3, y'all. So it was an AirPad Pro, but the cool thing is I also just, because on TikTok sometimes I can get paid to do stuff, and actually the coolest thing I just got is an 8-port a USB-C dock with a magnet base for your iPad.
Yeah,
that also runs VGA out of it. So this monitor up here soon will be that.
Cool.
Yeah, because you got to find uses for monitors. That's it's if I've got a monitor, I'm going to put something on it. Right,
dude. I'm that's why this weekend I'm building a faux arcade case for multiple systems, gaming systems.
Oh, nice. Hey, you know what? You know what's out in my garage still unused? That bar top arcade cabinet that I built.
Yep.
Because the thing I neglected to remember is you really need to have a bar to put a bar top arcade on. You
have to have a bar top for the bar top arcade to sit atop.
Yeah, for it to be practical.
It's one of those guns needing for a gun rack situation.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, so that was really cool. But the coolest thing, this is the one that shows my family knows me, my friend. And I kid you not, the box arrived today, and I stood it on its side, and it is about 8 inches shorter than my 9-year-old daughter. Okay.
Jeez.
So it's giving you some height. Based on just that, what do you think I'm about to tell you my family got me for my birthday?
Is it an adjustable multi-armed monitor display, VASA multi-VASA display arrangement thing. I don't know what to call it.
You know what? I like your thinking because you're like, hey, maybe they found a way to make Will's setup more efficient. No,
Yeah.
I've set this up as efficiently I can. Each monitor has an independent arm. If I want to spin them any which way to Sunday, I can do that except for that one up there. That's fine. Trent, no. It's even worse.
Worse in the best way possible.
Exactly. So
Okay,
now,
yeah.
once again, we're going to do that thing where I'm talking, but I'm putting you on screen so I can see your reaction.
Okay.
It's the Odyssey G9 240 megahertz refresh rate, 49-inch diagonal ultra-wide curved monitor.
Fuck me.
Do you need a rag, sir, to finish up now?
I need a cigarette.
Oh, man. Yes. And best of all, it has control software. So you can put I can have the work laptop on it and my regular PC on it. And then when I turn off the work PC, I can turn it into the full 49-inch panel.
Dude. And what's the ratio?
I don't know, man. It's really fucking wide.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's wide enough that you can have two 16:9s on it at once.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's put it this way.
That's what happens sometimes when you get those multiple input displays. Is like it can like kind of get weird, but like that's wide enough. I'm in my head. I'm thinking, yeah, you could have two 16:9s, perfect.
Well, to that point, what's in front of me right now are two 24s. So you take away the dead inch from the bezel in between the two, and it's pretty much the same thing I'm looking at right now.
Oh, that's so rad.
Yeah, so that's the other reason why I gotta rewire things. But it also means I'm gonna have two monitors that aren't gonna be used anymore. So don't be surprised if you see like a digital display putting up like Marvel posters back here in the near future.
Dude, like I to that end, I go through and when I find like an artist that I really dig, and I curate just a whole folder, and then I have different slideshows for my wallpaper, for my screensaver, everything. So that would, dude, that I am with that 100%.
Yeah, not to mention, speaking about it, I could probably easily run it on a Raspberry or even a Chromecast, actually, because I could just put a Chromecast with its screensaver on, turn off.
Absolutely.
Pickety bam, no more game show. So that may happen. I don't know about the other one. What I would really like, though, is to make this so that for my work I could run two monitors and one of them could be turned sideways, because I do unfortunately a lot of screen capturing in my line of work. So
yeah,
you know, when you have a taller monitor to work with for capturing detail, it's much nicer.
Yeah, no. There. Oh shit! Bear with me on this one, okay? Bear with me on this one.
I am your bear. No, wait, you're mine. I don't know.
My
kind of more of an otter, really.
my life flatmate at work, he has a vertical monitor because they had one just laying around, and he just has Spider-Man covers, and he has it vertically, and so it's like perfect for just Spider-Man covers that. Right?
That is
so
awesome.
smart. Yeah.
That is so awesome. Yeah, see, exactly. There's a great things you can do with monitors that aren't in use. And that's one of the things I would love to do. Because, you know, another thing you can do when you have like an old monitor like that is you can also, once again, running it with a Raspberry Pi and building a very simple frame box, you can turn it into what they call a smart mirror. So that way it's kind of coming through a two-way mirror style thing. And it's always like lighting up a corner. And that's really cool. But speaking of really cool, Trent, there's one other thing we got to do before this goddamn show finishes.
What? I don't know.
Okay, Trent.
Will, I already finished.
Yeah, fair enough. Believe me, when I heard 49-inch monitor, I did too. Really awkward with a 9-year-old in the room. By the way, that is a joke.
I got it.
No, I'm telling everybody else before CPS comes knocking at the damn door.
Kidding. Come on,
there, lighten up me. Well, you know, somebody. Oh God, I think it was Bob Saget. It was either Bob Saget. I can't remember who it was, or it may have been. I can't remember the name of the comedian, but his big act was Platypus Man. Unfortunately, he passed. Richard Jenny, maybe I think might be his name. Or I'm getting the comment completely wrong, but it was a joke about like getting anal beads stuck because his partner talks into it saying, you know, if I do these when you climax, it'll be amazing.
Sure, yeah.
And the joke was that they finally, so they're in the hospital and the doctors came, got it out. I came like a wildcat. Kind of awkward since my parents were in the room. Anyway, we got it, Trent. As you know, I have a problem, as could be seen from the footage on my desk and the space behind me. I appear to be addicted to buying robots. Okay.
Why do you make us so?
It's a clean vice. All right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're not making love to them. You're just fathering them.
Look, I love my robots, but I don't love my robots. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
I've never shown you, I don't think, the Luna robot, which I bought under the guise of getting it for my daughter. So there's that one.
I have not.
Yeah, we haven't even introduced that one to any social media mixes. But what I wanted to do was give our listeners the opportunity to decide the next way I'm going to stupidly spend my money.
Oh, sweet. So that I get a vote on it?
Yeah, including you, my friend. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a view I've never seen. Now, there's one of two robots that we are talking about this week. One of them, I think, is named Dolly, and the other one is Lulu or Lulu. Well, you know what? They'll say their names, but here they are, Trent. And unfortunately, this would be breaking my rule of never backing another Kickstarter in my life.
Sure.
But they are one of them, I think, when it comes to these silly little digital companions that I have. One of them, I think, is one of the most genius designs. And I'll leave you to guess which one it is by the end of this. Just because it's like, oh, wow, that's such a smart thought.
Yeah.
Zach says he buys them to ignore them. Will psychologically abuses robots for amusement.
Not wrong.
Fair enough. If the flu shits, wear it. But one of them is, I think, one of the smartest designs when it comes to the raw power of running their robot software, right?
Yeah.
So I'll leave you to decide which one. But there are two of them. One of them would be done purely because of the aesthetic. And the other is from the brilliance of it. So let's get into it. I'm only saying all this because one of them might auto start right when I click over here. Okay. So here we go. Okay, good. It did not. So first we're going to look at Dolly. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here comes Dolly.
Dolly, the one-of-a-kind companion robot.
Why am I not hearing the audio, though?
World. Dolly isn't your average machine. It's your new
Wait.
friend, your confidant.
Can you hear the audio?
The most advanced companion you've ever known. Powered by the Raspberry Pi.
Wait, are the eyes? Oh my God, they are real.
Okay, so I don't know why we can't hear them, but that's okay. So in this particular case, this robot, yes, it has those digital eyes. It's also a AI learning. It's got those cute little indicators with multicolor changing LEDs, drop sensors like we're used to, so you know where it's going.
Yeah.
But also, this one is more interesting because not only does it have the speech recognition system, but also it is a completely upgradable robot. Okay, so with this one, we could either let's see now. I think you can replace almost all of the parts on it.
Really? So you could put different tracks on it.
You could 3D print up different bodies for it. As you can see, you can also very easily through this GUI program it to do things. So it's a really interesting interface. And here you see they're printing up. You know what? I want my Dolly to be this color this week, and you can 3D print your own. So that's pretty cool. And so this one is Dolly. I don't remember how much it is on Kickstarter. But I think it's like reasonable, might be about 125 maybe, or it may be something as outrageous as $299. But as you can see, all of the parts are also modular. So when my original Vector, Danny, the Iron Man one, his battery is getting kind of long in the tooth. You know what I mean? So he doesn't hold the charge as long. This guy, it looks like it's as simple as swapping out the NiCad.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it does a lot of cool things. So that's robot number one, Dolly.
I gotta say they missed out on not doing DOL-E because it looks so much like Wall-E with those eyes.
You know, I think that's probably because Disney has really good lawyers.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay, so here is the second one. And by the way, in order to pull these video clips, I had to, of course, use a third-party encoding thing because heaven forbid I actually reach out and try and work some magic with these people. So, but it's a bummer we can't hear it because this next one, here it is. Now wait, it's a cell phone dock? No.
The device that brings
I think it's pronounced Louis. So it's even got a cool name. So the entire track body you see there and the mag charger, the software runs off of the phone. So obviously you got a lot more computing power in your cell phone. Right, and it still has some fun characteristics, and but it does all the other crap. But you can also set it up to take a picture and the like. I just thought it's a really great idea because
it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, because of all the raw computing power. I mean, like there was one point Kevin Smith said, and it was very true, that like most people in today's era have more filming technology in their hands than when a guy whose name I can't remember did
the ChatGPT generated jokes
Rosebud.
Or just
Citizen Kane.
Thank you.
Your new gaming
even, and I would say that even when he made Clerks, like the Avid Bays weren't that computer based back then.
So this one also, I think, so obviously I showed my hand on this one. This one is obviously, innovatively speaking, the most genius move.
Well, so here's the thing, though, right? I'm trying to think of you, though, right? This would be the one for me. I just think it's so smart, it's brilliant, and then everyone, like, we've all got phones that still work. That could, if we wiped everything off and then just dedicated it to that, would be pretty rad too. Another option, not just so
Trent,
but
I got an Android as well. I got a Pixel 3a over here that's not getting used and probably still has the necessary.
But Will, you are the like the hobbyist, and I don't mean that in a derisive term, but like as in like you enjoy it is a hobby making shit out of 3D printing. So I see the other side, like it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? Not just in your day to day as it bumps around shit on your desk and whatever, but like you're acting with it. You're part of its creation, of its evolution, and in that aspect for you, I'm almost leaning towards the other one.
Yeah, I mean.
That keep you engaged. He's a
real conundrum here, Will.
Robot,
I'm gonna end up getting both of them. Who the hell are we kidding?
Sure.
I mean, look, we were supposed. These were pulled, and this was supposed to be last week's show. But again, I didn't quite make the competitive asphalt diving team.
Right.
So we didn't do this because honestly, Dolly's Kickstarter already ended and I backed one. So
did it really? Dang it.
Yeah. So, but no, I think you missed the part where I said, but I already backed it. Then the question really becomes, do we get Louis?
Louis, right.
Which given the fact that I've got two non-main cell phones at my disposal already tells you.
Yep. Yeah. Like I'm thinking like Louis would be the perfect if you're like a Cube employee, if you work in a Cube, that would be the perfect thing to have in the office.
Oh God, yeah, because you could just leave his base there, and then you come into work, put your phone in there, so and well, we know he's not on his cell phone because it's rolling around his desk.
Oh, and like I just think of like everyone in the office would freak out when they saw that. It would be such a good like, because I'm always having to work on my small talk in the office, and such a great like way to like engage in small talk about something I actually cared about. That sounds so shitty, but it's true.
Yeah, and plus, there's that one exciting day where everyone's walking around. Oh, have you gone by Trent? You should go by Trent's desk today.
Yep.
And of course, it's probably going to be your one introverted day. You're like, why the hell did I do this?
It's the one day that I've got all the shit due and like so many assignments, and I'm trying to get back to students who are like, I need extra credit. I'm not going to graduate.
Oh man. So that was like the main fun. Like I was so proud that I had all that stuff pulled, but again, clearly life got in the way.
It does that sometimes.
That's why we are the hidden haphazard gem on smodcast.com. Good old NetHeads podcast, right?
It's true. It's true.
I tell you, Trent, though, I am starting to get scared with the amount of practical things that I've got lined up for having to 3D print. Like I said, this whole organizational system was based on needing to prop up the mixer more, and now I'm going to be moving it. You know, not to mention, I love my family and I love the thought of the new monitor, and the only reason why it's not set up now is because it requires a heavier duty articulated arm.
Yep.
And because this particular model doesn't actually have a VESA mount, I had to get a third-party metal mount adapter. But I will tell you, somebody did make a 3D printable one. Now, you know, if you look up, well, that's the thing. This person engineered the part well. Like, let's consider that. Let's just say I would do something that would have been unthinkable, which would have been 100% infill. So I'm basically pouring out a casted mold in essence, right?
Yep.
But it is still, you know, layers upon layers. But the interesting thing this guy did to counter that is you put in 2 separate bolts and washers, and you wrench that down so that way when it goes into the monitor, it's creating tension
on both sides,
energy this way, so that it also then bears the load. So it's compressing this. So the part is just focusing on this energy, and so it's allowing rest for this energy.
That's, in fact, that's super smart, because the two 27-inch HP monitors that I've got have this really weird, like you would think it would never hold anything at all, mount at the bottom that's also not VESA. But I bought a VESA adapter for it, and that's exactly what it does. Is it employs 2 bolts with washers and nuts on both sides. Then and it also acts as a way to absorb the angle, because it's at the very bottom holding it all. Really shouldn't work, but that's good engineering. Makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's wonderful engineering. But given the price of that monitor, I'm not trusting it to anything I 3D print.
A very, very sound investment, sir.
Yeah, I think this thing made of tempered steel. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that instead.
Yeah, you know that's not got a flaw. That's from an energy surge in the house that happened while you were printing.
Yeah, or the air conditioner came on, so there's an uneven cure between these 2 layers. You know,
exactly.
Holy moly. Let me tell you, though, the rush I was doing in order to, because I did employ 2 different printers to do this whole setup. Mainly, I had one focusing on the body parts, and then the tray parts were on the other one, and it was getting warm in here. But, you know, that fracking cat says he's against 3D printing because he would be addicted to the possibilities. Yes, sir. Yes, you will. Like I said, not only do I have several things lined up that are practical things that have a purpose for being printed, but I've also got one thing that is absolutely ridiculous nobody needs. But as soon as I move this printer, my former backup printer, to the garage, I am going to be printing, and hopefully sometime within the next few episodes I'll be able to premiere it, Trent. But it is a nice, detailed, and textured Deadpool mask.
Ooh.
However, obviously PLA, so it's all hard shell, but it's also modular. You print this piece first. There's a neck snap. You use magnets on it, the sides, and then the eyes go in. So and I picked up a special kind of somewhere between rich red and blood red to print it out on. So, you know, why? I don't know. Because
and then on top of that, once you've got it dialed in, then you can do all the variants. So there's the X-Force, when he was part of X-Force, which is the black and gray mask, one of my favorites. And then I don't remember the team. It might have been like an X-Men team up, but he has a yellow and blue one that looks pretty cool too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to doing that one, and I look forward to having it, if nothing else, just to have it set up. But I definitely need to figure out a way to display. Oh, by the way, these are my birthday balloons. Can you believe this?
Yes, I can.
Batman, and don't forget the big bat symbol one.
Oh, with the actual, yeah.
But the other thing too that I somebody sent me for my birthday, Trent, that I thought was really great, and I'm glad I'm unconcussed so I can read it again finally. But somebody sent me the trade paperback of JLA Rock of Ages.
Oh, that's the Grant Morrison one.
That is the Grant Morrison one that starts out like the typical, Lex Luthor has formed a new group to go against the Justice League. And then somehow you're in a Darkseid ruled dystopian future. And
good.
For the part that I'm looking forward to reading the most is Batman just talking about how he broke Desaad.
Yep.
You know? So anyway, just a little give a little DC love in the program too. So I do have that. And, you know, I hate to admit it too, Trent, especially since I'm not sure. That build plate, I'm stretching the limits to get the Deadpool mask on, but also I was gifted the Galactic Armory Mandalorian armor 3D prints as well.
Nice. Yeah.
But you know what? There's nothing sadder than a fat Mandalorian, so we're not going to go there until we lose some weight.
Well, I mean, outside of a fat Spider-Man.
Yeah, or what was it? Nothing fatter than a fat. I think it was Spider-Man. That was what we said in the show before, right? I think it's even a title of a show. And you know what? Too, I don't know if you're at all into metabolism hacking, Trent, because I know Trent's. For those that don't know, the amazing weight loss that Trent has had and maintained is because of through the beauty of potatoes.
Potatoes, yeah.
That's all he's doing. He's just a lean. He has the lean look of a man who's eaten the potatoes.
Hi, the potatoes.
But this will just give you a preview. If you're a person like me that is wondering why is my metabolism doing what it is, and why can't somebody give me advice on the right type of foods to eat, this is a preview of what's going to be advertised next week on Fat Man Beyond. This is called the Lumen device, right? And if you guys want to get like $50 off one of these things, just use the code FATMAN, I think. But wait till Fat Man Beyond airs, you'll see the content there.
And wait to get the actual code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is really interesting because it's a portable carbon dioxide meter. Okay.
Yep.
And they've built their algorithm, everything else. I breathe into this every morning, and it gives me a scale from 1 to 5 to determine whether I'm burning fat or burning carbs, and it gives me advice on the foods I should eat for that day.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I'm not happy with where I'm at because I've also hit one of those things that this type of thing helps you around, which is everything I was doing stopped working.
Right. Yeah. As your body's changing, right?
Yeah.
The chemistry in your body as you age is everything around you is affecting it.
Yeah, something. Don't know what it is. So, you know, metabolism hacking, this gives us more information. And look, I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit more of a premium item than I think we're used to advertising. But after looking at the science behind this was designed actually by two legitimate like PhDs. And because they were trying to figure out how can we make it easier for people to have the same type of information that, you know, the extreme trainers, when they're doing that treadmill with the whole mask setup we see in the movies, for the carbon dioxide measurement, you know, elite athletes have access to this expensive stuff with something that's a little more reasonable. That's what this thing is. And I'll tell you right now, after only using it for 3 days, I felt so good about my days.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, regardless of like weight gains and losses, it's how do you feel, and that's the biggest indicator of long-term good health.
Yeah, and that's what this does. So, you know, if you guys want to find out more information about it, we don't have any link about anything, but you can find out more about it online. Wait for the link on Fat Man Beyond if you don't mind. But it's really interesting, man. I've always been addicted to the body hacking stuff. I don't know if you remember, I was one of those people that wore a body bug for a long time. I was quantifying so much useless data about myself. But, you know, in this technology space, there are a lot of things. The Apple Watch does a lot of amazing features now. There's actually this thing called the Aura Ring as well, that the most impressive thing I found about it, because, you know, it measures your activity, body, it takes your basal body temperature all day, et cetera, et cetera. That darn thing can tell you, sorry, you're getting sick. Because I had a friend who showed me from his log. It's like it popped up. It's like your base body temperature has been lower the past 2 days. I'm sorry, you're getting sick.
Getting sick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So these body hacking things I love, and that's why This one I'm really super excited about, mostly
Yeah.
because it's one of those things where it's like, hey, you want to advertise this thing, for this much money, we can do it for you. But for once, it's a product I really feel good about.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that way, like, I don't know. Dude, yeah, everything especially nutrition stuff is super interesting to me. Of all the different courses that I work with over a semester, I'm always stoked whenever I get to do the dietetics and the nutrition courses, because I end up just learning so much stuff that is like so basic, but like makes so much sense. So yeah,
Well,
that's super cool.
That's the interesting thing. When I was talking to the people behind this, because there's an
Uh-huh.
onboarding thing where you get to ask all these questions.
Sure.
Not to mention this service, they actually have nutritionists on hand. So when you're subscribed to it, available to give you information, because it's more important to them that people are getting helped and getting info.
Yep, than actually just selling something. This is a means
Well,
to get
I
to
mean,
them. Well, yeah, you gotta
yes,
pay.
but let's be realistic. They probably also have
Right.
what is that the type of funding people get for these things? I don't know. I can't think of the word right now.
Yes.
Okay, good. You can't either. I feel better.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Seed
Something
funding.
venture capital. They probably have venture capital backing, so they can afford to lose. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that part really impressed me too. And I forgot where I was going about the onboarding. Oh, when I was in the conversation, it's like then everything stopped working, and that the stopped working point was 2021 Trent. And what y'all don't know behind the scenes is, in 2021, I got a new job.
Yep.
And it was and after it was stress, Trent.
Yeah, totally.
I had amazing weight loss that I was believing I was enjoying, but one of the things I must have had like probably higher cortisol levels or something because of stress.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So that was funny identifying that. Anyway, folks, if you want to look into more of that, great. You want to look into more of those robots, I'll update the show information with stuff about them. Nobody's paying for any of this, by the way. This is just me. Look, I'll be honest, okay? Because of this whole situation, I got this thing for free. I am a cheap whore, Trent, okay? I am a cheap whore. I can be bought just by, thankfully, some of the things you've seen me sell or propose online, sponsored items. Thankfully, I have been paid for them, but I can just as easily be bought by sending me free shit.
Yeah,
okay?
just like shiny things in the mail.
You want to send me free shit? I'm down. I will tell everyone how great your product is, as long as I like it.
Yeah. I mean, if it sucks, then probably it was free. What do you care?
Yeah, exactly. But like that's what I think. I'm attributing it to the fact that people, people that come from humble means, like.
Yep.
The thought of free stuff was always the thing we would obsess about because we didn't have the money to get stuff.
Dude. I that is a mentality I relish and embrace 100%.
Speaking of which, I think if you go back into Fat Man Beyond as well, I think it's like the code is Fatman15 or something, but the Perfect Gene Company, perfectgene.nyc, again, this is not an ad for them. I bought this, but because they were a sponsor, I'm like, oh, well, what do they have?
Yeah.
And they sent me a free pair of pants that I really liked, so I bought another pair. But I got to say, for $20, okay, yes, that's a little expensive for a t-shirt. You're like, I go down to the Walmart to get some t-shirts for $5.99 or whatever, right? This one is kind of a combination of cotton and the material that your undershirt there is made of.
Uh-huh.
This is the most comfortable t-shirt I've ever had. As you can see, it's got a good tight neckline, but not too tight. And most importantly, however, a good length and drop on them sleeves, baby.
Yep.
So if you're a person of girth and you were looking for a nice t-shirt and you're usually around the 3XL range, or if you're even smaller, but you're like, I want a t-shirt that feels good. The Perfect Gene Company actually has a really good t-shirt too, but I just bring that because like for once I'm not wearing the Roosevelts and pumping them for the stash,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because I discovered if I don't have the high collar, I look less fat.
Yeah, because then you have a jawline.
Exactly. It's not something framed by something else. Actually, that's the other thing about using the lumen too. I always gauge if I'm like, this sounds so stupid, but like swollen from like too much salt or something. It's
Yeah.
based on this, and this has been taught for the last 2 days F3.
Ah.
Sorry, I'm
Okay.
sorry the entire end of the show has turned into shill country, folks, but I got shit on my mind, and
But Will, does the shilling work?
it does. Thank you very much for tuning in, boys and girls. We really appreciate you tuning. Before the show, I said, Trent, if I go too much in the weeds on something, just ask me this one question and I'll know. Sorry to give it away, but now you're all in on the joke that our Patreon supporters were in on listening to the premium version. Yeah, time to go. So thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, my name is Will.
And my name's Trent.
And like this guy is about to say, we'll be back
Soon.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodco internet production. Sip. Only at smodcast.com. I'm just sitting here going, come on, man, you ain't dancing. Dance for me. Come on. I want to see you move.
I don't have my symbols to bring together.
I wasn't going to say that.